every list item is considered as page item. Page item. So for every list item, we are giving the class page item. Page item. And every list here, so anchor is considered as, we define the class as page link. Page link. So we will use this page link for every class. So page link for every option we are configuring. Now you see, now it is converted into a pagination like this. It's converted into a pagination like this. This is pagination buttons. So usually these pagination buttons are responsible for navigation. Remember, they will not work. You just designed them like this. Manually also we can design like that. For that we have to use button group. By using button group you can design. But here we can just apply some pagination class, page item, page link. That's it. Pagination have sizes. We can have pagination SM. SM is for small, LG for large. That means small pagination will come. Size will reduce a little bit. So we can use LG, that is for large. Only two sizes available. This is large pagination. So we will use SM for small pagination. And if any item, that is for example, this link, first one, we can use a class active. Active is used to highlight that. You can see it is to highlight. But actually page item becomes active. That means suppose I given this page item as active. That means it will be active like this. You can give active for any one item. So for page item 1 or page item 2, you can give active, it will be like this. This is not functioning currently. We have to attach this pagination with our tables. And if table have many records, hundreds of records will be there, then what we do is we make this to display. So generally we make this to display with the help of JavaScript and jQuery and connect them. So that per page they can show only 10 records or 20. For other records, we can go to next page and previous page. Right. So generally for pagination, if you want to change the placements, you can write like justify content center. So that means it will be centered now. It will be centered to that particular table. You can change the alignments and you can configure that. You can, you know that justify content to end, justify content to start, justify content to center, you can keep anywhere. So for this kind of effects, the pagination is very much used. So this is regularly used for paginations. This is an example for that. Yeah. So paginations are very much regularly used, and these are required for managing the contents. So if there are more than one screen area. But remember, Bootstrap will teach you only the design, not the functionality here. We will attach this with functionality in JavaScript and jQuery when we learn about a lot of records and managing those records, displaying in a table, navigation to next page and previous page. These all are very important, right? Next, that is one small component. Another important component is we have spinners. So in the components, so we have another Bootstrap component, that is spinner. In Bootstrap, we have spinners. Spinners and progress are present. Actually, spinners are very simple. Two types of spinners are present. You can use a spinner border like class. You can use a spinner border, and you can use spinner grow. These two types of spinners are available. We have spinner border and spinner grow. And you can use with colors. We can apply text contextual. Contextual means, primary, secondary, etc. All these colors we can apply. That is color for the spinners actually. You can keep spinner anywhere. You can keep the spinner in a button or separately. Generally, spinners are very much used, that. Spinners are mostly used for showing the status of any task performed inside the application, like uploading, downloading. So it is processing. We want to show status through a spinner. Then we can use that. By using the spinner, we can do that. For example, see here, generally, so I am adding another page spinner. And let's create here doc type HTML head and a title. And so title is just spinner. And link relation is equal to style sheet, and the href is node modules bootstrap. This bootstrap CSS, and in the body we have container fluid. You see the types of spinners I will show you first. We have spinner border. You can just put a span here and you can put a class. We have spinner border. Spinner border, you can see that the spinner border is going to display like this. That is the spinner. That is the spinner. You also have like a spinner border with colors. Suppose I will put a span class. We have spinner border and a text primary like this. It will have the colors. So you can have the spinner border. So class as spinner border and a text danger like this. This is bordered. We have spinner grow also. So we have spinner grow. We have spinner grow. Just you can put this here class as spinner grow. And spinner grow is also having like spinner grow text primary, spinner grow text danger like this. So text danger. And you see the spinner's grow style will be like this. This is a grow style spinner. That is the spinner border and the spinner grow, right? We can keep these spinners anywhere. So inside any container, we can keep them. So suppose we want to display some loading status. I kept a button here and a class BTN and BTN primary. And in this button, we have a span. The span uses class spinner border. So here we will put the text as loading like this, and it will display inside that. You can change the size, keep it small. We can use spinner border SM. That is small size. Then it will keep it small size. That is spinner. You can directly show that status inside that button and display that. This is very commonly used option for us. So displaying and working with the spinners. mostly when you are using downloads, uploads, and we show according to the time available, time elapsed. So we use these spinners and define them. So spinners are very generally people use GIF files. That means images for that. Like spinners, we have GIF files also. Sometimes people download those GIF files and use them for showing the status and all. We don't need to do that. With the Bootstrap also, we can manage, because sometimes you will observe people using spinners from spinner GIF files. So Google images. So we have spinner GIF. You see, these are the spinner GIFs actually. You will see like this. These also are very popularly seen sometimes. So these are not buttons actually. These are GIF files actually. This is not Bootstrap. This is GIF files. So such spinners also you see in websites actually. So you will find this. You see that is the spinner actually. It's a GIF file. And so some GIF files usually have animated. Those GIF files usually have animated. And due to that, so generally these animated GIF files, it will be like this. We can create such things that's very complicated, so time waste. So we have predefined spinners, we can work with them. So you will see so many different types of spinners in websites. I already told you, if you go to the paid source, like Font Awesome also have. Font Awesome is also having, suppose we saw Font Awesome website. In this Font Awesome website, usually we can search for here spinner. So we can search for the spinner. And Font Awesome is also providing such spinners. You can see that. But these spinners, everything is not free. They are not free. So some are paid. So Font Awesome spinner will come like this. So this is the Font Awesome spinner. FAS and FA spinner. It will give you this style of spinner. And several third parties, you have to purchase them. We can get more symbols actually. But in Bootstrap, we also have that. We can use this spinner. To show the status, this is one regularly used options. So this is spinner. I'm giving that example here. Okay, this is the spinner. Let's copy an example for that. Generally, to show the status of the task performed, how much percent completed and all, we also use progress also. In HTML, we already learned progress element. I already showed you progress element. But that progress element will not allow any text on that. It will not allow any text on that. So progress element will not allow any text. So that is the reason. So if you want to display with some text, with some special effects, you have a separate progress. So we have the class called Bootstrap also have progress, and we have progress bar. So in that progress bar, you can give some text, you can display some text. So that is allowed. Progress bar can have background colors. So you can use background colors. That means you can apply BG contextual for progress contextual. That means primary color, success color, danger color, all these you can apply for the progress bars. We can apply for the progress. We have animated progress bar also, like we have progress, the classes like we can use progress bar stripped. Stripped is an animated progress bar. And you can also use progress bar animated. Progress bar animated. Animated. These are all progress options available. Actually, without Bootstrap, when you look at the progress here, so you see, without Bootstrap, when we are applying the progress, let's add one more file here, progress.html. Okay. And let's create doc type HTML head title and progress. And in the body here, in the title, we will put this link and container fluid. Here I will show you basic progress bar. Actually, HTML progress. HTML progress, we use progress. And you know the attributes I already explained. Min is equal to, max is equal to. So you can define that. And you can see generally the progress bar looks like this. This is the progress bar. That is the HTML progress bar you have seen. For that, you can give a value. So suppose the value is some 25. And you see that is the value. I try to write 25%. And you can see, you can't see the text. You have to write the text left or right to it. That means you have to put the text left or right to it. It should be outside, not in that progress. So this is general HTML progress bar. But we can do it more better way by using Bootstrap. Bootstrap also have a progress. For that, we have to create a div, and this div class should be progress. In that progress, we have another div. That class will be progress bar. Progress bar, progress bar. And this progress bar will have BG colors, BG primary. Okay. And you can see that this is Bootstrap progress bar. Now, how much filling you want to show in that progress bar? You have to apply that by using style actually. By using style, so we have to set the width as 25 pixels. So that means you can see that. So that is 25 pixels. You keep 25%, it will give 25%. So you give like 50%, then it will be like 50%. Like this you have to define. And inside that, I can give a label like 50% downloaded. Now that will be as a label in the progress. That's good. This looks a better progress bar when you are showing the status in Bootstrap. Because in HTML progress bar, you cannot display the labels, you cannot show the contents there and define them. But this is possible. This is possible. So this is the progress bar, and this is the progress bar. With more effects you can add. Suppose, actually, we can even have multiple progress bars also. So multiple progress bar means this is general progress bar. I will keep here Bootstrap multiple progress. Multiple progress. Actually, in a div, you configured as class progress. And inside that one div, this is class progress bar. Progress bar. And this progress bar, so style is suppose so 30%. Style is width as 30%. Okay. And here I will say 30%, 30%, and 30% we said as good. And then I will put here, so BG success. Okay, and another div I given here, class, another progress bar. Inside progress, 2 progress bar. This is BG warning. BG warning. So, and here I will keep the style. So style as style. I will keep style. Style and width as, suppose this is 20%. So 20% or 40%. 50, 80. Okay, that means now here I will give 50% people say average. Average, okay. And 20% is there, class progress bar. And BG danger. And the style width, out of 100, I am sharing it, 20%. And this is 20% say poor. And you can see that. So this is a combination of 3 different. So 30% said good. So 50% say average, then 20% as poor. These kind of options you can design with the progress. So this is generally the value that you have provided, style. Later with JavaScript and jQuery, you can change this. You can change this value dynamically. That means some more votings are towards the good, then good bar will increasing. Now many times people ask like, sir, can I keep vertical, horizontal? You can keep, you can rotate. I told you already CSS 2D, 3D effects. You can rotate by 90 degrees. You can rotate by 60 degrees. Already with those CSS 2D, 3D effects, you can rotate by any angle. You can keep it vertical, horizontal, anyway. Now progress bars also have animated. That means I give, suppose, progress animated and stripped also, stripped. For example, the same I will take here, copy them. These are 3 options. And for all the 3 progress bars, I will give progress bar animated and progress bar stripped. I am giving progress bar stripped and progress bar animated. For all of the 3, progress bar animated and progress bar stripped. Usually, this is stripped and animated progress bar. You can see stripes. So you can see stripes and you can see small stripes are scrolling like. Small stripes are scrolling like. You can keep that. So we can design that and configure. So usually these are the options. So these are the options defined. So technically when you are dealing with, so these are the options, progress, how we can display the progress and configure the progress. These are the options. So this is one simple point. Generally, we also have tool tips. This is progress. So that is the concept of progress, how to use them. Generally, once you have this progress, you can change them dynamically with your logic. So with your logic, you can change them. Right. That means if number of users are voting good more, then you can increase that green level. But for that, you need little bit coding, then you can increase that. Next, so that is progress related option. This is an example for that. We have different progress options. We can use a HTML progress bar or we can use this Bootstrap progress bar. This is the example for the Bootstrap progress bar. Okay. Next, another one in Bootstrap regularly used is tooltips also. Bootstrap tooltips. Tooltips are very regularly used. Actually, tooltip is like, generally tooltips already we know. With the image element in HTML we learned. With the image element we learned. But this requires here generally some additional jQuery options also. Actually, tooltip means you have to define title. You have to define title for content. Title for content. And you can change the appearance by using attributes. You can define dynamic functionality by using the attributes. We have the attributes like data BS toggle. We have like data BS toggle. So this data BS toggle, and we also have data BS placement. So these are used. So with that, we can manage the tooltips actually. So tooltip placement is nothing but you can keep top, you can keep right, bottom, left. So like the tooltips can be defined. So generally, tooltip is responsible for managing such contents. Now, important is we also have an option called data BS HTML, which can be set to true. I will show you this. Actually, we already learned when we discussed about image in HTML, if you remembered, in image in HTML. For this, you need jQuery. So I will give you tooltip.html. Okay. And this is generally doc type HTML head and title tooltip. And we have link relation is equal to style sheet. And href is equal to node modules, bootstrap, dist, CSS, bootstrap.css. And in the body section, mandatorily we need script. And the script source is in the node modules. We have jQuery, dist, jQuery.js. And one more, we have script source. And we need node modules, bootstrap, dist, JS, bundle.js. If you already learned in HTML, we know, for example, we have an image. So image width is 100 and image height also 100 and image have an source. And here assets, we have shoe.jpg. If you remembered, I told you that we can display tips for the images, divs, paragraphs, buttons, anywhere you can do. Now you see here the image, generally on the image, this is the image. So to display some tips, we can use title. So suppose Nike casuals. So here 50% off Amazon. Like this I defined. Now you see that when I move the mouse onto it, it will display the tip. Already we learned that. When we learned in HTML, we discussed that we can keep such tooltips. When mouse pointer is over, it is going to display that tooltip. Now, this tooltip, usually, when you are displaying, see, On mouse over, it is automatically displaying. Actually, we have data, so BS toggle, data BS toggle. We have data BS toggle. And this data BS toggle, we use tooltip, data BS toggle tooltip. And we have data BS position actually. That means at which position you want to keep that. So we need to define placement, right? Placement like top, right? We have to define that. The toggle, the tooltip. Actually, this is nothing but, now when I click on that tooltip should actually toggle. Actually, this is already a image which is having general tip. Data toggle is used for handling click events actually. They are used for handling the click events. Now, click event can be managed for the buttons. You can manage for the buttons. On button only, these will happen. Or you have to manually write JavaScript on click like options, on click. So we need to pop up them and display them. In jQuery, we will learn JavaScript, you will learn how to write events. So this is not suitable for images or other contents because you need to write additionally click event. They already have simple mouse over, they will display the tips and configure them. Here we are using button. Suppose in the button, so let's keep a button here. And in the button, we are giving the class as BTN and BTN primary. And this button have a title. Title is nothing but suppose 50% off on electronics, something like this. And here we put electronics, that is the category actually. Now, usually this button, electronics is that defined. And let's keep container, class container temporarily, yeah. Now this button is clickable. Now the tip is displayed here, already tip is displayed there. When I move the mouse, same like image, tip is displayed. But button can manage its click event. So by using data BS toggle tooltip and data BS placement top. Now what this will do is, so when I click on that, so it should display. That means we have to configure the display of tooltips and define them. So we need options like, and several more other options also required. Suppose we are displaying like this. So data BS toggle is a tooltip. Okay. And placement is at the top. That's placement where you want to keep top or bottom. So we can define bottom or right or left, you can define. And we need to add the title also, title for that. But what is the key point is, this is not defined on click event now. We don't have a click event. Toggle is managing the click, but we are not having any click event configured to display that content in the page. Actually, these require the click event. These require the click event, and we need to write the tooltips to enable them through jQuery. Tooltips will not directly work without jQuery is enabled. We have to enable tooltips in jQuery in order to use them. Otherwise, they can't work. That's one problem you will face, and that's what you will learn in jQuery actually. That means you cannot enable them. How to enable? So we have to write some jQuery functions to enable. So then only they will work. So that means you have to learn JavaScript and jQuery in order to perfectly use this. Means in JavaScript and jQuery, we have to write a function. That means suppose see in the top, we have to write a script. So we haven't yet learned about that script. So we will not use it. Later we will learn about that. What we have to do is by using BS toggle tooltips, we have to access them and we need to use them. That means I need to write a logic in that script like where. So we have to, means when we have to write that. That means suppose function, so that is body load. So on body load, so we need to call the tooltips and enable them. This is a very big concept. That's the reason, just learn those attributes. Later we will use them. So that's the reason I given this at the end, because already we know that, but it requires a lot of JavaScript functionality. Many times people ask this, how I can display tooltips and show them. Already you have that. Directly title is displaying tooltip. But if you want to display with additional effect, that means you want to keep your own effects. You want to define your own effects. You have to configure your own effects. That means background color, foreground color, these all things you want to change. Then you have to display by using this mechanism. Now we can access the tooltips and define the tooltips only through JavaScript and jQuery. Okay. So no need to try this. Later in JavaScript and jQuery, I will tell you. Only the classes we need to know. So later when you learn JavaScript, you will learn how to enable them. But without enabling also, tooltips are coming. So but Bootstrap tooltips can change their effects. Means we can change the background color, foreground color, font size. We can make them more effective. That requires so little bit of these options. So one more point I will write here is tooltip requires Bootstrap to enable on specific event. So which you can configure using JavaScript and jQuery. For that we need to learn JavaScript and jQuery. Then we can handle them. So initially I'm not showing that because later once you know JavaScript, jQuery, you can handle. Like that, so many options are related to JavaScript, jQuery, which already you saw. Here we can only design them. So later we will learn how to handle them. With the HTML, we can display just by using tooltip. Just a syntax I will give here. Syntax is, suppose we have some button, and for button we have a title. This title, some tooltip text. And for this we have to use data BS toggle, and we have to write tooltip and data BS target, data BS placement. You can use some placement where you want. That's how we actually configure. That's just a syntax, right? These are all the basic things that we need to understand and work in the Bootstrap. So now in Bootstrap, you have learned all the classes, and by using all these classes, we can make the appearance more effective and create the presentation. Now what I will do is, I will give you a simple exercise to do. I will upload a small screen to you into the assignments, into the class. You have to design that. You have to design that and you have to present it. So that means I will show you. I will give an exercise now to you. You have to able to design it, because now you have learned all the techniques with CSS, you must able to do that. And you must able to do that with Bootstrap 5. With Bootstrap 5. So I will show you just the screen layout you have to design. With Bootstrap 5, we have to create it. Let me give you, yes. This is a sample site. This is the sample site. And you use a dynamic toolbar. I'm just giving a sample. You have to make it more effective. So this is carousel. You know how to design the carousel already, we learned. Not like this. You need carousel like a banner, left, right, with indicators and all. At the top, I want responsive toolbar. Not like this. I want a responsive toolbar. Navigation bar. You know what is the meaning of responsible navigation bar. And this is the design. This is the design. And this is the first page design. It's not yet done. After that, when user clicks sign in, a drop-down menu will come. This is the Bootstrap drop-down menu. And in the Bootstrap drop-down menu, when I select sign in, it will open the sign in page. You have to design this by using input group. By using input group and buttons, you have to create that. Sign in, sign up, this screen you have to create. And when I say sign up, another form will come. Another form will come. When I select change password, another form will come. Now I go to contacts, it will get the contact page. I go to service, it will get the service page. This is the service page. And I go to about, it will get the about page. And in this page, a table will be there with view button. When I click the view button, you should get this pop-up and display. All these we learned. Remembered? All these we learned. Now this pop-up should display about that particular course details. It should come. Extra here I have filter also, but that you will learn in jQuery. You don't need to achieve that, so that you will learn in jQuery. Because if I type here filter some name, it will get only those details. That you have to achieve with jQuery, not here. Initially, you have to design up to this. These are all screens. Okay. Now this you have to do with your new Bootstrap 5. Bootstrap 5. And so all these Bootstrap only. Bootstrap, CSS, so everything, right? Now, how many days you will take to design all this? I will upload this entire zip file as exercise. I will assign this. I will upload the zip file. You can download it. You get your own images. You get your own content and you design. You can copy this content, images you can get from here itself. I will upload this entire zip file. But this entire with Bootstrap, you must able to design the functionality. So this everything you need to design by functionality. What do you say? How much time you need to design this? How many days? So understood what to design? Can you try this? Can you try this entire website layout? So you have to. Why? Because that tells that you are now perfect. Right. Right. And actually this can be maximum 3 days for a learner level. Okay. So 3 days time. So if you don't have any other business to do, then you can do in 1 day also. But if you want to take some more time, then you can do in 3 days maximum. 3 days is too much. For a professional, this is just Bootstrap professional. This is just less than a day, right? So just 3-4 hours enough to design all this. So, and but 3 days you take maximum and you try to design this entire website layout. Okay, is it clear to everyone? This is your exercise, right? This is your exercise. So mostly by Monday you have to submit this. Okay, If you've done before that, that's very good. Okay. By Monday, you must able to submit this. So if you are feeling any difficulty in achieving anything, then you can let me know about that. I will give you some tips. And if you have done this, that means you have professionally created a website. If you have done this, means you have professionally created some static website. It's ready for use. Now we need to handle interactions to this. So manage the interactions and working with the interactions. So what do you say, everyone? You can take reference, right? I am not going to see what you are going to take reference. You can Google, you can do everything. I want this design more better than what I have given to you in your own style. Understood? I am not asking to exactly replicate this, right? I want this content. And you keep your own colors, your own effects, your own styles. If you can make this more better, that's great. For example, suppose you want to show these services also in a carousel, like one card, another card, third card, that's great. So that means you've done more good, right? So there is no objection in that, okay? Right. So this is your task for HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Bootstrap. HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap. Now, once we are good with this, now we can start understanding and learning with JavaScript. So we will start working with JavaScript now. We will go into the concept of JavaScript. So that we will do from the next session onwards, okay? Tomorrow we will freshly start working with JavaScript. Is it clear to everyone, right? So, and if you have any doubts, you can ask. This example I will upload into the classroom now, okay? You can download the zip file.